Hi everyone, this is Dave Lawrence from Artisan Jackson, and I'm going to share a little behind-the-scenes photo editing action with you tonight. Today we're working with Colleen Peterson, who is a very talented and fun artist in Jackson, and we found this great window in her apartment to do our portrait shoot. So this is one of the final photos that we used in the book and on the website and stuff like that. So we're going to take one of the photos that wasn't chosen for the book and the project and do a little editing just for fun. Now, Colleen and I took a lot of great photos. She was really great to work with, and the window in her apartment was a great light source. So we're going to take this photo and just do a little bit editing. And we're going to start with cropping it in so you don't see the little pull down on the blinds there. That's nice and closer. And then I'm a big Visco user, so I'm going to pick something from the new '07 pack. And with all the photos from Artisan Jackson, I picked Kodak Ektar 25 to keep it consistent so that all the portraits looked very similar to each other, and I kept a consistent theme. We'll cool it down just a little bit because there's a lot of orange in this photo, and we'll drop the highlights down because that window light is pretty strong. It's nice evening light, and I'm a big believer in contrast, so we'll bump that up a little bit. And then we'll come down here and drop the blacks down. I like good strong shadows, none of that HDR crap. And then drop the saturation a little bit just because it's a little bit too strong for me. Next up, we'll add some sharpening, not too much, but just enough to make it pop a little bit. And then I always add some masking so that not everything is sharp, just the details that I want in the photo are sharp. So we'll drag that up a little bit like that. And then we zoom in here and you can see there's some stuff, especially here in the shadows, that I want to get rid of and maybe just get some blemishes out of there. We'll get these stray hairs so that the shadow is nice and pure. You don't have these little red hairs that Colleen has sticking out of the shadows and distracting you from her great portrait here. So we'll just clone out these, go around. I'd probably do this a little bit more carefully, but we're just doing this really quick for fun. Well, maybe I want to do that one too. Yeah, she's got a few more here. Yeah, we'll just get rid of this one right here. There we go. So now you don't have any distractions in the shadow side of her face. We want everybody to look at her eyes and her nice smile and that kind of thing. I usually do soften the under eyes just a little bit. You know, you don't want deep shadows under the eyes or anything like that. And I also will lighten up the eyes just to make them pop just a tiny bit. And then I darken some parts of the photo, especially around the lips and eyebrows and eyes and things like that, just to make them pop a little bit. So we'll just make a little add a little bit more contrast in her lips here and her eyebrows, and then right in the middle of her eyes, add a little bit more contrast from the white surrounding it there. So yeah, Colleen looks great. We'll come down here, and next up I'll just remove chromatic aberration just in case there's any purple or green fringing. We'll add just a touch of vignetting to focus the eye to the middle of the photo, and then Visco adds a little bit too much green roughness, so I'm going to drop that down just a little bit. So that's pretty good. I want the colors in her shirt to pop a little bit, so I'll knock the vibrance up just a tad. And maybe the photo is a little bit too dark, so we'll boost the exposure just a tad bit, and then she really comes out of the photo there. Drop the highlights down just a little bit so they're not as bright white. I try to get more of a film look in a lot of my photos. No drastic editing or anything like that, just subtle things. So I'll raise the shadows here to give them, so they're not pure black, but they're kind of that dusky black that you see in old film. And you do that with the curves panel here in Lightroom. It's really easy to do. And then I'll drop the middle of that shadows there just to add a little bit more contrast in the shadows, make them super deep. And then raise it just like that. Adds that nice dusky black, just like old films. We'll show you before and after here, just real quick to see some of the changes that we've made. You can see like the contrast is what sticks out to me the most. Deep shadows, good bright but not obnoxious colors, and good skin tones. We don't want those obnoxious orange or anything like that. And then the little editing things like editing her hair out of the shadows there makes her look great. So yeah, I think that looks good. We'll look at a previous photo or just to see the difference, and you can see less orange, more contrast, and a little bit, the colors in her shirt really pop. They look great in the sunlight there. So that's it. That's my editing style pretty much. I might spend a little bit more time on this stuff, but not too much. I don't unless you need to drag it into Photoshop or something like that. So thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, give me a shout. Thanks.